Is this thing on? Sounds like it's on. Hey everybody, this is Kash from LoreForged.com. I am very excited about one of the races that I'm going to talk to you about today. One of my personal favorites, one of my go-tos in every MMO that I play, every RPG pretty much, or tabletop or whatever. And that race is the Pyray. Actually had to go to the wiki to make sure that I'm doing the proper pronunciation. The proper pronunciation of this elven race is Pyray. I've been calling it Py'Rai for the longest time, and that would be wrong. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about one of the two Perian elven races in Ashes of Creation because it really does strike a fancy in my heart. So let's talk a little bit about the Pyray. It is known with the Pyray that all things come to balance in time, and nature always has her way. The Pyray are known to rarely take prisoners, which makes them a little more savage than your average bear. Now, whether by bow or spear, the Pyray's legacy will take root. Let's talk a little bit about the Perian elves in general. Now, the elves as a whole live within this Perian Kingdom, and surrounded by that kingdom are the forests of Arinthia. Now, this is the main spot to where my Pyray will live. The wilderness, that is their shtick. Now, the elven race as a whole is very secretive, and this is no different for the Pyray. Somewhere within that surrounding of this forest is the capital city of Eridal, where magic and martial studies are unparalleled in Verra. Now, the thing about the elves, you would think because they're so secretive that they would want to keep those magical and martial skills to themselves. But oh no, they are also very hospitable people. They want to take that knowledge and they send emissaries out in the form of trainers and scholars and researchers to build relations with the others in Verra, most particularly the humans, which they had a storied relationship with in the past thousands of years that Verra was inhabited. In knowing that they want to bring a lot of this knowledge to the Verrans, you will find Pyray everywhere in Verra, in particularly areas of knowledge and areas where they can share their own knowledge and insights with others. Now, the elves themselves as a whole are primarily a patriarchal society, which is different than the Dunir. It's different than the dwarves as a whole. But as a patriarchal society, that basically means that they have male elves in some of the highest positions of leadership. Now, is that right? I don't know. It's just the way their culture is. This one's very interesting to me. This came straight from the wiki. There's also a particular lineage of elves who exist within the Underrealm. Now, is this going to come out in the lore as possibly a hybrid mix of the Tolnar? Or is this a whole new dark elven race itself? Menzo Barons on anybody? One of the things that I love, the biggest thing that I love about the Pyray is that they are your classic wood elves. Wood elves typically live in these areas of woods and forests. Now, that's going to be similar to a lot of the elves in fantasy settings that we all know and love, like for instance, the Sylvan Elves of Tolkien's Middle-earth. They were the ones that were out in like Lothlorien and Mirkwood areas. And for gamers in particular, you're looking at games like Warhammer, they had wood elves. Elder Scrolls definitely had wood elves in the form of the Bosmer. EverQuest, Dungeons and Dragons, the list goes on. Wood elves are everywhere. It's anarchy. I freaking love wood elves. Anyway, in Ashes of Creation, they have a particular spin on the wood elves, which I absolutely love the way that they have spins on a lot of these different cultural influences. And for the Pyray, their cultural influence is Navajo Native American. And I absolutely love this because of how raw the Navajo were. The Navajo were traditionally hunters and gatherers. Meat was a major part of their diet, even though they could not be really considered as being like purely carnivore, because they did learn how to farm. They learned how to farm things like corn, beans, and squash, which they actually learned from the Pueblo people. But I love the fact that we have a race within Ashes of Creation that has a Native American influence to them. Their architecture is going to be woodland and nature, which means they are going to be your quintessential hunters and gatherers. And since I've always gravitated toward these nature classes, I'm having a real hard time now that I saw the cleric showcase, but most likely I'll be rolling a woodland type ranger in the form of the Pyray. Now, we are going to get a little bit more in depth with all of these races as we go on. We're going to have a lore series. We have a shorts series that we're going to be periodically releasing. Some of those videos that kind of detail the main aspects of each of these races. I know Sunny and Jibs are both going to be diving into some of their favorite races in some of these 5-minute opinion videos. Anyway, just a quick down and dirty on the Pyray elves and why Kash loves them oh so much. For much more stuff, head to LoreForged.com. We have a ton of content there for you that's waiting for you to devour, and we're going to be coming out with lots more. Safe travels. See you on the next one. Here we go. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Test the mic. How now, brown cow?